You're listening to Paul Anderson. This is the Sideshow Podcast.
And welcome to an episode of the Sideshow PC. I am your host, Paul Anderson. And today I'm actually excited because I'm coming off vacation. Last week was my birthday, and I took a week off. I'm back. This week I am actually going to be joined by a label owner. His name is Joe Urban, and he owns the record label Take This to Heart Records. I want to thank my friend Heather Green for helping me out and telling me about Joe and his label, because without her, I definitely wouldn't have known. So thank you very much, Heather. I definitely love the label itself. He has some of a young group of artists that I am excited to actually talk about. Some of them I actually have heard of, and it's not like they're not somebody that shouldn't be known. There's a handful of them out there that I've heard of, like Arrows Over Athens, and I actually did a little bit of research and learned about the Fossil Youth, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I should be hearing from Joe in a few moments, and I'll be giving him a buzz. I can't wait. So we're just going to take a little pause, and we'll be back.
I am well. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thanks for doing the interview, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I'm stoked.
I
think I saw you do something with Nick Diener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love him, dude. He's a good dude. That was a good interview.
Yeah, I saw him. I think he sent me his new band's album.
Oh, the Apology Tour?
Yes.
Yeah, they've been actually. I checked out a few of their tracks, and I like what I hear. It's definitely different from the Swellers, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, a lot different. They have a new full length done.
Oh, it's done. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh no shit. I love it. So yeah, dude, how you been? I mean, I know this is our first time talking, so I'm definitely excited to talk about Take This to Heart Records and what's been up.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I've never talked to you before. I think I've listened to or seen one of your podcasts, so this is a cool little experience.
So yeah, I mean, being a label owner, and you guys now, you've been doing Take This to Heart Records for how long now?
4 years going on 5. It'll be 5, I think, in March.
That's exciting, dude. I mean, now you're kind of like a younger label. Can that be a little bit intimidating, especially where a lot of I'm going to say like a lot of the bands that we both probably grew up in the local scene are now signing with a lot of the national independent labels, we'll say?
Yeah, I mean, I started it. I was kind of doing management, and I was searching for labels for some of the bands I was managing. And one of the bands that, I decided, hey, we should just put this out ourselves and kind of dictate where it's going to go. And it all kind of started from, doing a local label, doing smaller bands. And as I kept on doing it, I got cool demos from, bands all across the country, and just kind of escalated into, kind of making it a much bigger thing than it was initially planned for.
Now, let's bring it back a little bit, and I want to learn a lot about you. What was your upbringing like as a kid? I mean, you grew up in Massachusetts, if I'm correct?
Yep.
How was that?
I grew up, doing. I went to Catholic school as a younger kid. Went to public school at 7th, 8th grade. Coming from a class of 10 people, it was a lot different going into a class of 383.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I didn't have too many friends until I got into music and the whole DIY scene.
Yeah.
Which was such a playing bands and just doing doing local. I was booking shows before I was playing in bands. I think my first show ever was Big D and the Kids Table in 1996.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun, dude. I remember they played a show actually at my college, so I definitely I love Big D, and they kill it. So that must have been a fun show.
Yeah, I mean, just that show, those people kind of like really gave me that kind of aesthetic and work ethic, and just they started their own label when people didn't put their music out.
Mhm.
Fork in Hand Records, I remember it vividly. Heck, my band put out an album on Fork in Hand Records.
Wow.
Yeah, my old band rather.
Now, were you in a lot of local bands growing up, or did you kind of go right into being into like the idea of having a label? I mean, obviously you have to have some experience being in bands.
Yeah, I mean, I actually started. This is like kind of like my third label ish.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I started a label. I want to put out my friends' music. I was booking shows. I wasn't even playing in bands. I started a label. Actually, gave a speech at a venture capitalist convention.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, and I'm like, oh, I'm starting a label. I'm gonna do this. I gave, I guess a riveting speech as a 17-year-old kid, and someone invested like 30 grand into like doing a record label. I put out, like 4 or 5 releases, and I was young and dumb and didn't really know what to do. And I also wanted, play music.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just rather play music than be a label at the time. And one of the person that helped me out a lot was Seth from Top Shelf.
Okay.
We actually played in bands, and he helped me out with the label. Like this is, like 2001. We're playing in bands, and he, owns with Kevin Duquette, who also played in bands with one of the bigger, independent labels out there. They're in San Diego now. They used to be based out of Boston.
Oh, no shit. Nice. What is one of your earliest memories, I guess, as kind of being involved in music that you can remember?
Like playing music or booking?
Let's start with playing music. I mean, yeah, let's start with playing music.
I remember. So I guess the coolest memory when I was really young is we got to do like the East Coast of Warped Tour in 2002 as like a brand new band. I was in this band Sunny, and we were on this label called Fast Music, who had this band Autopilot Off, who was kind of big at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to they went to Island eventually. We played 7 dates on Warped Tour. We did it in a minivan without a trailer.
Wow.
With 5 people. We were I was touching like everyone in the band at all times. And we would go in the Warped Tour the first time, and the first show was in New Jersey. We drove up into the parking lot for bands. No one believed we were in a band that were playing. Because we're in this minivan, and we're like, from anywhere from 16 to, 19 years old. No clue what we're doing. Super DIY. We show up, we park, and then everyone else is a bus around us. Somewhere there's a photo. We took a photo of it. We just this like soccer mom minivan we borrowed from Nick's mom, and we took it on Warped Tour for 7 days. It was pretty wild.
That is wild. I like that. Now, at what point in your, I guess, for you, did you decide that, all right, enough is enough, or enough booking shows, more or less, I'm going to go and I'm going to create a label, and this label is going to be what Take This Heart to Records is today?
Well, Take This Heart Records is like the third incarnation of like labels. So it's a journey of doing different things. I've started labels with people who now either run labels or manage bands, and I always kind of wound up writing music instead of being the business side, which probably if I in retrospect if I like stayed a label for 10 years I probably would have gotten a lot better at it. But from booking, it really started. I was booking shows, then I started a label, then I ended a label, started a band, then I ended a band, started another label that lasted very short.
Yep.
Then I ended that label, started another band, and started this label. It's a crazy timeline.
Now, who was your first signing on any of the labels? I mean, all the incarnations. Who was your very first signing?
The very first signing was my friend's band, the Grand Prix.
The
They're a local band. They're some of my best friends still, all of them. They recorded. The funny thing is they were going to sign this label, Fast Music, that my band, after I dissolved the label, signed to. So their contract fell through. They were going to record at Sonic Iguana, which is like Screeching Weasel, the Queers, all these like pop punk bands of yesteryear recorded that. So they needed money to do that. They needed someone to press the CDs and do all that stuff. And I just decided to spearhead me, like, oh, these songs are awesome. We need to do something with it. Why we need to promote it and do it the right way. So I spearheaded it, started a label, somehow got money to do it.
Yep.
That wasn't even my own. I don't know. I just finagled, a business. Hey, we're going to make money as a label. We're going to do a compilation and do this band. And if we sell 100 CDs at $10, it'll be this much. I just put together some crazy 5-year business plan.
I love it.
And it worked out.
I mean, you guys are doing good. I mean, you have a crazy roster right now. You have well over 10 signings, if I'm correct.
Yeah, the Take This to Heart that started 4 years ago. Now we're on 35 releases. That'll be out in August. We have 5 more planned after that. We'll probably have 40 releases by the end of 2017.
That's amazing. That is amazing, dude. Now you guys doing just like you're doing full lengths, EPs. You're doing 7 inches.
Yeah, I don't want to do 7 inches anymore. Mostly because there's just no money in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love doing them. They're really cool, and I mean, I know the funny thing is I know I'm going to do another one. It's like set up. But the band is really, really popular, so it's going to make sense to do.
Yep.
But in theory, I'll do make everything a 12-inch, whether it be like I rather do a one-sided 12-inch than a two-sided 7-inch.
Oh, that makes sense. Is it cheaper? Is it cheaper to go 12-inch anyways, or does it not really make a difference?
I mean, it's cheap. It's not cheaper per unit.
Yeah.
But you can charge more, and the packaging just so much nicer.
Oh, for sure.
I rather sell a 12-inch for $10 than a 7-inch for like $7 because it costs so much.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think, like, you're looking at a 12-inch and you have that album art that's like literally like a piece of artwork. It's huge, so you get to enjoy that, especially as a vinyl collector.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
With some of the newer bands and the newer releases, we're screen printing stuff on the other side, on the B side.
Yep.
And just looking really, just keep, stepping up our art game. We're working with better artists now and everything, and.
Very nice. Now, what's one of the biggest challenges, I guess, that you find as a label owner? Like, what are some of the tough decisions that you have to make, I guess, day to day?
I mean, day to day, it's really allocating your time. We have so many bands, and everyone I want to give everyone the same amount of attention, but there's, everything is so time oriented, whether it's touring or an album cycle or getting the right press. It's just really allocating your time properly to each band, along with just making sure you talk to every band every day, or if not every day, every other day, or at least once a week. Just trying to see what to do with your time.
Now, I'm sorry, keep on.
No, and then overall, saying no to bands is the hardest thing to do ever. If I really like a band, there's whether it's because I just don't have the money to do it, or I don't have the time to do it, or maybe it's I just can't do them justice. It's tough to say no when you really like something.
True.
You want to be. You need to be. You need to be somewhat of a business. I can't just be throwing money away.
Of course not. And that's, I mean, if you could sign everybody, you would, especially if you loved everyone, but you just can't please everybody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, through that process now, and it's a great segue into my next question is, how do you choose some of your artists?
So lately I've been lucky enough that I'm somewhat established, and I can kind of go after artists that have put out a couple albums already,
Yeah.
whether it's on a smaller label or almost, I guess equally sized label. I can like, oh man, I own this, two albums by this band, and they're not signed to a label. Let's see if I can work something out here.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky enough to do that. Before that, bands will come to me. I found this great band, Fossil Youth. They
Yeah.
sent me their demos 3 years ago, or maybe not demos. They sent me like their rough mixes of an EP or of a split they wanted to do. And I loved it, and we've done 3 releases together, and they're definitely one of my biggest bands, and we've kind of grown with that band.
The latest record has actually been heavily played on my playlist, and I definitely agree.
Yeah, I that band works really hard. They've made me work hard. I don't know. We kind of, I guess, are both of us getting bigger are kind of running parallel. So I definitely credit a lot of what I've accomplished because of them.
When it comes down to like recording and stuff, like their last record, I mean, it sounds fantastic. Do you help choose where they're going to record, or do they kind of come to you and be like, all right, we want to record here, or we want this person to do the mixing, or do you kind of get in a meeting with a band like that and kind of help plan everything? Because I mean, you are the label, so that would make, I mean, you have to make decisions with that, right?
Sometimes, usually the band gets their own kind of choices here. They went through 3 or 4 different choices before they landed on Jay Moss.
Oh, Jay, okay.
Yeah, Jay Moss from Defeater did it. And it was fantastic. He was affordable.
Mhm.
He put the right on effort into it. Um, it's worked out well. They were gonna go with we went through 2 different people. I probably don't want to name names, but it just didn't work out.
Well, that happens.
Price wise, time wise.
So I mean, now I don't know. I hear a lot of like, I don't want to say like horror stories, but I know like a lot of sometimes labels will are they the type like, are sometimes labels will like kind of like have like that controlling factor. I've heard from other artists, I guess, that like they have to send like a preview to their label and stuff like that. Do you do that, or are you kind of like, what you guys come up with, I trust you because I signed you and I believe in you?
I usually don't have too much to say if people ask for my. In recording stuff, I did work like at a studio. I was in a band. If there's something like, hey man, maybe you should try this because by switching up like your pre-chorus, just like talking as a musician, talking as a songwriter, if they respect me enough to trust my opinion, I'll talk to them about it. But there's really nothing. What I'm gonna say is like, oh, you should write poppier songs, or I'm not gonna say anything about that. I would more critique just songwriting choices sometimes, and sometimes bands have taken it and we've worked, and it worked out well, and sometimes bands they're like, no, I'm gonna keep it that way.
Okay.
And I'm fine with it either way. I signed the band for a reason, and I trust them. I'm not ever into changing someone's art.
I like that.
I've changed artwork. I've had to say that art is just really bad, and people are gonna look at it and not get a chance to hear your record.
Okay. Like they may not, like the fans listening may not get it.
Yeah, like this is just it's not. I hate to say the word like professional.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it was thrown together, and it really was. I called the band out. I'm like, this is just not good. Let's. I can find someone to do it better. I know a bunch of artists. Let's work together to get, to have something feel like it's going to fit the album. Mm-hmm. And it worked out for the best, and everyone was happy.
There you go.
I'm sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say there you go. Yeah. I guess now, I mean, do you have like a favorite story, I guess, of a band that you have signed in the past?
Like, I feel like the coolest, the feel good story right now is this band McCafferty.
Mm-hmm.
That They kind of broke up in 2014. I had their album Beach Boy. They put up a single. They started this kid Noah, I think. I want to say Noah. It might be someone else. Started to GoFundMe to fund like a new record. They put out a single, and I saw it come up on Spotify, and on the bottom it said record label needed. I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm gonna hit up these guys. I like them. They had like 500,000 plays on Spotify. Crazy fans. Their own subreddit.
Wow.
Like hundreds of thousands plays on YouTube. I'm like, I've liked this band for a while. They're really popular. Let's see like what's wrong. What happened here. So I got a hold of the lead singer, songwriter, and I'm like, hey guys, if you're planning on doing this, we should do this super professional and just like plan it out and put a team together, because there's a lot of people in the world that want to hear your band. So literally it took about a week to get an agent and a manager for the band, and we delayed the album a little bit, but it was well worth it. It's coming out June 30th.
Nice.
And we just put together, a professional way of doing it, and to take their fans and find new fans and just get the most amount of people to hear this band. And it's going to be a really cool story.
Now, what was the name of that band again?
McCafferty.
McCafferty? Okay. You got that.
Yeah.
So the next question I have for you is, as a music fan, do you have I usually like to play this game with anybody that's on the show. It's the Desert Island game. And you get to pick one record that you would take with you. What would it be?
Saves the Day, Stay Where You Are.
Oh man, that was quick. Now, do you have a reason why?
It was at the pinnacle of when I was just really, learning about music, whether it's writing, playing. I had an awesome time. I literally remember putting in the album, driving to a recording studio, like getting to do my first full length. Is listening to this band. I saw when they toured. I think it was July 2001. I followed them for like 3 shows. Saw them play. Stayed up and saw them play like At Your Funeral on Craig Kilborn, I want to say it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then literally I think I was playing like Warped Tour 2006, and Chris was there with pink hair.
Oh man.
And it was, they're just one of those bands that can do no wrong for me.
Now, another question I have for you is, I guess, as a label owner, do you have an influence over there? I mean, there's a lot of labels, I guess, out there that, I mean, as a fan, like I grew up, one of my favorite labels, not today, but back in the day, was Victory Records. And I mean, obviously they have a very interesting reputation. Did you ever, I guess, have a label of your own that you kind of like, that's actually a really good label. I understand what they're doing. And did you have any of that, I guess?
I grew up, my favorite label, I own all the magazines. I own their DVDs, Saddle Creek.
Saddle Creek?
Spend the evening. They did Bright Eyes, Cursive, The Faint, Desperacidos.
Yep.
Yeah. I love their story because they're just all people from the same town. Heck, the label and Bright Eyes and Cursive all started from the same band. They were in the same band from the same town, and they took that whole like, hey, we're just gonna do it ourselves, and they evolved into, 3 or 4 different bands, and then Rob Nansel, the label owner, just took over as just doing the label stuff, and it was it's wild. I don't think that's ever gonna happen again.
Wow. Now, did you ever have a mentor, I guess, at the same time? Did anybody kind of mentor you into this, or did you just kind of run with it yourself?
With label stuff, I always bounce. Like, one of my best friends, Mark Jordan, he's kind of like a mentor. He works in the industry. He works for like Father John Misty now, and
wow.
He's from my area. We started a label together for a little bit in 2005. That was my second label.
Yeah.
So
okay.
He took it and he ran the business side, and he's just really forward-thinking dude who's always come with really good ideas for, he works with them and he works with Fun.
Fun. Oh, okay.
So, that band Fun.
Yeah. Okay. Now I guess I'll wrap it up with one last question because I don't want to take too much of your time. But this question is, I guess, what is like a big goal or a milestone that you hope to reach in general?
Oh man, I don't really have any like finite goals. I just want to have every year be better than the last, every release be better than the last.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's really impossible to do because you always want to take risks on bands.
Yeah.
You know, like, all right, maybe this band's not gonna sell 1,000 records on their first release, but I really love it. I think they're gonna grow. And then also some bands that have a built-in fan base, like McCafferty, where we're gonna put out the record, and we don't want it. The goal isn't 1,000 record. It's 10,000 records.
Okay.
So
there you go. So it's just pretty much to kind of put the best product out there for the listener, at the same time sell some good records in the meantime.
yeah, and honestly, never really I don't know. Never get too happy with what you're doing. Always try to do something better.
Progress.
Exactly. I don't want to be stagnant.
No, of course not. At the end of these episodes, I love to play music from usually who I'm interviewing, but in this case, you have a lot to choose from. I guess from your great roster of artists. If you could pick a song or a band, pick a song from a band that you have on Take This to Heart Records. What would you like me to play?
I would. There's so many to choose from. It's like picking your favorite child.
True story. Yeah.
I guess to sum it up, I mean, Fossil Youth, Watercolor Daydream, first song off their new LP.
Okay.
It really kickstarted what I'm doing this year and what I'm able to do as a label, that band.
I do love the fact that I do love that band, and I do hope to actually have them on my show sometime soon. I definitely want to get in touch with them.
Yeah, I can make that happen.
All right.
I know them.
All right. And if anybody out there listening, if you haven't checked out Fossil Youth yet, definitely check them out. Their new record is awesome. I've been listening to it nonstop on Spotify, and get out there, buy it, listen to it, and definitely support Take This to Heart Records. Joe Urban is legit, and I love him for it. So, dude, thank you for being on my show today, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right, so this is going to be what was the song again? I don't want to fuck that up.
Watercolor Daydream.
Watercolor Daydream by Fossil Youth. All right, take care until next week, and later.
Impatience all of the time, and every once in a while it's followed by a brash goodbye. I know I hurt you even though I never really wanted to. You said you lost faith in me for good, like when the water meets the sand, things will dissipate, all your surface. Come back to me, come back to me. Like when the